All right, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Brad Gottschall. I am the Lower Paxton Township Manager. In typical fashion, I'm going to give a brief summary of this evening's agenda, particularly for the benefit of those who may be watching at home on television. Tonight is a business session of the board. We have a fairly busy agenda. First, to include under new business, the board will take action to award a contract to New Enterprise Stone and Lime Company for the 2025 Township Paving Project. Following that, the board will take action to adopt Resolution 2025-04, which authorizes the submission of a grant in the amount of $500,000 to the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a storm sewer project. Then next, the board will take action to approve change order number 1 for the PC2E trunk line external repairs project. Following then, the board will take action to approve a municipal services agreement with 10-8 Emergency Vehicle Services, that being for a consolidated fire apparatus maintenance and testing vendor contract. Then following, the board will take action to approve an agreement for the consulting services contract with PFM. And then under subdivision and land development, the board has a number of items to first include action on ordinance 2025-04, which amends the township's zoning ordinance, specifically with regard to a rezoning request moving from R1 to Open Space Development Overlay District. Then the board will approve a preliminary and final minor subdivision and land addition plan, plan number 2503. Following then, finally, the action on improvement guarantees, the payment of township and authority bills, and then finally hear any last announcements from the board and staff, and then finally make a motion to adjourn. With all that said, members of the board are seated and prepared to conduct business. Thank you very much.
Meeting of the Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors will come to order. We will begin with a Pledge of Allegiance led by Supervisor Eugene.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we normally do, we will open with public comments. Public comments are meant for comments for items not on the agenda this evening. Please give us your name and address when you come up to the microphone, and please also limit your comments to 5 minutes. Thank you.
As you know, my name is Dr. Charles Stewart, 1440 Karen Drive. I received a letter in the mail 2 days ago. As you know, Mr. Miller, you and I have been trying to resolve this issue of this sewer water at our organization. According to a document I got 2 days ago from your collection people, there's a lien that's been placed on my property. And I've been trying real hard to work this out and keep this problem in the house and not be a jerk about it. It's a suspect. It's from your attorney, but it's not signed, but it shows that the Paton Authority signed it, and it shows that it was supposedly clocked in December, that this thing was placed on our property in December. That may be an issue that we can talk about before I go down and find out, because if it's true, then I'm going to take action as I stated. But I thought that we were trying to work this problem out, and that kind of disturbed me when I received that letter in the mail, kind of insistent that there's already a lien on my property. I'm not paying that lien. I'm not going to. You know how I stand on this. So if you'd like to discuss this further, we can. If not, then I will proceed with what I stated I would proceed with. I do not want to sue my township. I do not. I do not want to go through that process. I just want us to work to get this problem resolved. And if we can't do that, then I have no other choice. I've been professional about this. I've been calm about this. Don't test my resolve, and I don't want that. Let's just try to work it out. If I can't, then I'm not going to tolerate a lien on that property. Thank you.
Dr. Stewart,
Yes, sir.
you and I spoke individually, one-on-one, and you told me that there was a title search that had been done.
Right, there's two.
Yes, and I had asked you for documentation of that title search.
Right. I had contacted the individual that we paid for those two searches, and she actually called me back yesterday. And she was supposed to call me back today before I came to this meeting. I am upset with her too. So, because she plays a part in this whole thing. So I am waiting on her. I can't wait on her to contact you guys or to give a letter or whatever to do. But my point is, we're trying to work through it. I'm working with you, you working with me. I did not know that I'm going to get a letter from your attorney stating that there was already a lien put on my property that I wasn't aware of. If that, in fact, is the case, I will know tomorrow when I go down to the courthouse to find out. But yes, sir, that's where we're at with that.
Well, if there is a lien, we can deal with that as well. But
Okay.
my point is that we need some sort of documentation.
I understand.
And
I agree.
When I believe what you tell me, and I want to
Thanks.
work this out. I want you and the board and Lower Paxton Township to work this out. I'm sympathetic to your circumstance that you've given us, but we need some piece of documentation that allows us to know that you did what was right, even if we did or did not do what was right. And once we have that documentation, I believe we'll be able to move forward in a way that everyone will be satisfied with. So I apologize for, getting this notice unawares.
Okay.
The wheels of government grind, whether we want them to or not, or actually we do want them to grind. But again, if you give me the information that I've asked you for several times, I think we can get to some sort of agreement that we'll both be satisfied with, all
Yeah,
right?
once I get that information that I have asked several times from the person that did that I paid the money to, that contacted you guys,
Yeah.
I will definitely get it to you.
Right.
And I'm putting pressure on them too.
Yeah. Again, you can understand our position, right?
Oh, absolutely. I
It's
can
easy for
understand your
people to stand
position.
up and say, hey, we did this, but with documentation, it gives us more weight of what has happened, and that's all we're asking
Yeah,
for.
I can understand that, but I don't understand not being informed that it was already put on a docket.
And I
So,
understand that,
okay?
yes.
And I would just say, Dr. Stewart, I know I left you a message about 2 months ago, and we followed up about a month ago still, and I haven't heard from you.
Okay.
In relation to those letters, I will reach out to Portnoy and get those communications. You would have received multiple communications before a lien would have been placed, and I can also get the lien documentation as well.
Please do,
To support
yes.
that process.
I
And
appreciate
please
that.
reach out to me, and we can talk.
Will do. Thanks. Thank you.
Good evening to the supervisors. I'm Alvin Q. Taylor, Reverend Taylor to some, and all of that. I live on 1062 Ackery Drive. I was here before the board a couple years ago to add an addition to my home. 22 by 22 addition, issues with the pipe offset and all of that. Well, we got it done. It's in. But usually in the springtime, I always go out there and check the yard and everything like that to get ready for the mowing, trimming, and whatever. What happened recently with this last big rainstorm, I couldn't find the drainage pipe, and so I called the sewer department, and they came out and couldn't find it. So the next day, I really started digging to find the discharge of this pipe. To make a long story short, we have a serious erosion problem out there. And they said, based on the work I did several years ago, that the pipe is private owned. And I understand that. But the problem is not the pipe, it's the erosion from the water coming down Ackery Drive on a hill. I have a big hill you got to come down, and it all goes into one little inlet. And then when it comes out like a jet engine blowing everything out. And so what happened with the erosion from the fall rain, it caused the pipe to collapse. And that's why I couldn't find it. And then with this spring rain we had back in March, end of February, it eroded it even more, and there was about 2 or 3 feet of dirt over it. And so I went down and found it out, made it long story short, I found it. And so I called back to the sewer department, and they came out and they ran a camera down through the pipe from their truck. And then they came out the next day after they found the raccoon in the pipe, a big raccoon. They said, we're going to clean it out to get the raccoon out. And then they brought the other truck out and they poured a lot of water down in it, and it cleaned out the pipe, but it showed them the erosion problem, how it comes out of the pipe and goes to the left and goes to the right. It took off all the topsoil, we're down to the shale. And right now, I'm at the point where they're saying it's my problem, but it's an erosion problem from the water coming down the street. And at the end of the discharge pipe, there isn't a retaining fixture, wall, or whatever to hold the dirt back when the water comes out. And so by me digging it all the way down to the actual pipe and to the ground level underneath the pipe, they do have a little wing coming out of the pipe, but it's only that big. And soil beside it's like that, and it just caves in all the time. And so what I've done, I've got a response to Mr. Weaver. I got his report here, and then I got my response here with the pictures, including the picture of the raccoon down the pipe. So the conclusion of the whole matter is you need an extension of 20 feet so the water can come out of the pipe and actually fall into the stream that comes off the one twin lakes behind my house. The stream is already there, but when you look down that stream runoff, you see a lot of trees collapsed in, and it from the storms we've had, they have eroded all the dirt and all of that, but for me, it's the property. And so I do have a response, and like I said, the short of it is you need an extension on the pipe there. You need a discharge header, we called it, way back in the 70s when I used to build bridges. But that's the problem. And until that pipe extension matter's resolved and the header on it, the header that was there was not high enough to start with. And so what we have with this water coming down the street is you have massive water discharge coming out of there, and it just blows everything around. And when I give you the pictures and all that, you can see it. If somebody would see Mr. Weaver, it's a response for him. I can leave you for.
Reverend Taylor, a quick question. The pipe that you say that needs to be extended by 20 feet,
Yes.
I'm not sure I understood. Is that the pipe that you installed, or that's
No.
the pipe we installed?
No, where I live, the cul-de-sac, they extended it, and they brought 4 houses from Old Union Deposit Road, where the Hampton Inn is currently. They brought those houses there, and they put them on a foundation. And I guess they ran the pipes down there prior to moving the houses. And so during all of this, we had trouble finding the sewer pipe. And now we're starting to experience what all this extra rain is doing coming down Ackery Drive. Previously, when it came down Ackery Drive, it went down into my garage. So we built a trench all the way around the garage to dump into the pond. Well, now, with all this extra rain we've had last fall, I believe it was in October, and February, March, with this last one, with no leaves there, you can see the damage. The runoff from the stream, it only used to be 4 foot high. But when you go down there now, it's actually 12 feet high. And it's really a lot of erosion. And as you look around where it goes around, it used to be like 2-3 feet wide. It's actually 10 feet wide. And so every time we get a heavy rain, we're going to have that erosion problem down there. And right now I'm just waiting for trees to fall. That's what I'm starting to see now with the wind, the soft ground. I'm starting to see these trees lean.
Yeah.
And so I'm only worried about the section where I got to deal with on that hill.
Right. Thank you, Reverend Taylor.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Mr. Weaver, I don't want to put you on the spot. I know this is not the main purpose for your being here this evening, but do you have anything to add to this, or?
Well, technically, it's more of a Lower Paxton Township Authority issue because the Township Authority owns the storm system. I did tell that to Mr. Taylor. Unfortunately, though, in any case, we don't have a policy right now that would allow us to give him assistance because it's not part of a larger stormwater management program project. So we have hundreds of requests for people for assistance on private property, but that's the authority purview. If they want to help Mr. Taylor or not, that's up to them.
I understand. Thank you.
Yep.
Could I just add one thing to it? My exercise for tonight. The reason I'm so concerned about it is because where that new addition is, if that actually caves down the hill, it's going to come up to where that new addition is, where the asphalt is, and it will cause the asphalt to cave in. As you look at the pictures, you could see where it was coming down the side of my house. And so what I did, I graded it and I put a mesh over it. And I noticed with this last spring rain, even with the mesh and the French drain and all of that, it's really starting to gully out a little bit more. We just had more rain is all I'm seeing. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Taylor. Other public comments?
Hi, good evening. My name is Patrick Henderson. I reside at 7060 Creek Crossing Drive, the southern end of the township. I'll be very brief. I reached out yesterday to Amanda Zerby to raise an issue on a road and a pipe where I live. By yesterday evening, it was resolved. That's probably the third or fourth time that I've had occasion in my time to reach out to Ms. Zerby. Each time I've received a professional, prompt response. Each time the issue's been addressed. I want to express my appreciation. You hear a lot from folks who have concerns and issues and they leave them at your doorstep, and understandably so, but I think at the same time it's important to share when things go well. So you're very fortunate, we're very fortunate to have her on your staff, and I wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you for letting us know. Other public comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to board comments. Board members?
I would like to make a comment. We had a resident last week, Mr. Victor Banks, share with us that over the weekend, the gate at the compost facility was left open. What we found out was that the operator, the pen waste operator, forgot to lock the gate. The last truck out, I guess, forgot to stop and lock the gate. So we've shared the complaint with them. So hopefully going forward, we won't have that situation again.
Seeing no other comments from the board, we'll move on to the manager's report.
Yes, sir, members of the board. This is a special week for us here, that being Local Government Week. Each year, 1 week is designated by the Pennsylvania legislature as Local Government Week, honoring the dedication of Pennsylvania's local officials and encouraging citizens to learn how local government functions and affects each of the residents and businesses within the community. Nearly 166,000 county and local government employees work every single day to provide crucial services to the 13 million plus residents who call Pennsylvania home. It is these services that each one of us see and feel directly every day, unlike those provided often by the state and federal governments, which tend to be larger scale or more long-term. Here in Lower Paxton, our 54,000 residents are served by approximately 170 full-time and approximately 70 or so part-time and seasonal employees, which are organized within 8 departments, those being finance, administration, parks and recreation, community development, sewer, public safety, public works, and economic development. We have with us this evening a number of our department directors who will present us with a brief overview of their respective responsibilities, with external service departments packaged up pretty nicely on the infographic posters hanging on the back wall of this room, as you can see. Not represented in this evening's presentation is the Department of Administration, which includes the offices of the Human Resources Manager, the Information Technology Manager, and the Facilities and Assets Coordinator. This department really provides for internal services to our organization, including our personnel, facilities, and assets. The general public typically does not necessarily get to see the day-to-day results of those functions as they go to support primarily the functions that are more tangible, that are actually more intangible in nature. But with us this evening, as I'd mentioned, we have a number of our department heads scattered throughout the room. I'm going to ask that they briefly come up to the podium and share a little bit about what they do, and to talk a little bit about some of their departmental achievements and kind of what they do day to day. So I'm going to go down the room physically as I see them on the posters in the back of the room. So Mr. Weaver is up, number 1. Sorry, sir, to put you on the spot, but sewer department, take it away. Or somebody else's? Are you taking it? All right. You're putting me off already here, so go ahead.
Hi, good evening. My name's Amanda Zerby. I am the Director of Community Development, and I am just going to run through a quick overview of the Community Development Department with you this evening. We have 4 divisions in our department. We have planning, zoning, building, and property maintenance code enforcement. We have 4 staff. We have a secretary, a permit technician, a planning and zoning officer who also acts as our code enforcement officer, and I am the director, and I also act as a planning and zoning officer. The planning division is a division that oversees the regulations, rules, and standards for planning, subdividing, and developing land within the township. The township contracts with Herbert Rowland and Grubig as the township engineer. Staff and the engineer review an average of 20 SALDO-related plans a year. And Nick Garrett is the planning and zoning officer. He's also liaison to the planning commission, which meets the first Wednesday of each month to review the proposed plans. This division is also responsible to ensure the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan. The zoning division regulates land use to ensure orderly growth, safety, community, and welfare. This is done by utilizing the zoning ordinance and the zoning map. The ordinance establishes land use regulations by creating zoning districts that provide guidance on how properties can be used. The districts create separate districts for industrial, institutional, residential, and commercial. The ordinance also provides regulations for dimensional requirements for each zoning district to ensure compatibility between property and land uses. The zoning officer reviews approximately 600 zoning permits per year. The zoning officer represents the township at the zoning hearing board, which is held the 4th Thursday of each month. The zoning hearing board is a quasi-judicial board that hears applications for variances, special exceptions, appeals for the zoning officer, and code officer decisions. The zoning ordinance and map are undergoing a comprehensive update and will be before this board in May for a presentation at the May 13th workshop and the May 19th meeting for a public hearing. The building division is in place to ensure that any proposed construction is structurally sound and safe for use. The township contracts with approved code services as building code official. ACS reviews approximately 500 to 600 building-related permits a year and conducts approximately 2,400 inspections. ACS has worked closely with staff on a new online permitting system that will allow applicants to move through the building permit process online, and this system will be available in the near future for applicants. And last, we have property maintenance. I don't know why my slides aren't popping up. There we go. The township has adopted the International Property Maintenance Code to ensure public health, safety, and welfare for residents. The code officer conducts over 1,000 inspections per year, which result in over 400 violation notices. The most reported violations are high grass, accumulation of rubbish, and inoperative motor vehicles. So that concludes the overview of our department, and I just, in closing, would welcome residents to contact us with any questions or concerns they have. Our contacts are on the community development page. Bill?
Excellent overview, and by the way, you should feel good that a member of the public came to give you a public kudo. That was great.
Certainly do.
Mr. Taylor, while we're waiting for the next presentation, could I just ask you a question? What kind of community is on Acre Drive? Is that no, I understand that. Is it an HOA community? Is that a private community? What is that?
No, it's just a community that was there when I was there in 1963.
Okay.
What they did in that cul-de-sac, they just lined the cul-de-sac and added 3 houses down there, 4 houses. That's the only part of history I know.
All right, thank you.
All right, sorry for the delay there. I had to get my PowerPoint up. Board members, we have our sewer board back there. I think some of you are new, may not know the history of the sewer authority. We have 30 sewer employees in the sewer department. We have 4 pumping stations, 150 miles of storm sewer, 280 miles of sanitary sewer. We have a $183 million program right now being conducted as part of our second consent decree. We spent $138 million to date, and we have $45 million remaining. We're one of the first townships in the country to replace private sewers all the way to the house. So far, we removed 40 million gallons of I&I from the system, and we've removed all the overflows in Paxton Creek and Spring Creek, and we have 2 remaining in Beaver Creek. We've paved 54 miles of roads as part of these sewer projects. We have 72 planned over the next to complete the program over the next 10 years. Under the stormwater program, we have an MS4 permit. We have a stormwater engineer, and as part of that, we have a 5-year cost of $7.5 million for operations and $12.7 for capital. And we removed 1.7 million pounds of sediment reduction required as part of our MS4 program. And we are partners with Susquehanna and Capital Regional Water and PennDOT. So we saved a good bit of money with getting grants through PennDOT. They got some federal money that helped us as part of that. That permit expires in July. And the good news is that we received a notice from DEP after meeting with them that because we've completed our TMDL for the Chesapeake Bay and Paxton Creek, that our permit cycle for the next 5 years will not require any new pollution reduction plan. So that's a significant savings to our customers because we don't have to do any work for the next 5 years for the Chesapeake Bay or the TMDL. In the presentation I have up now, I just wanted to share really quick some of the things that our in-house construction crew does. We save about $500,000 a year. We do stormwater and sewer work throughout the township, normally in mini basins, but also projects as part of what you'll see tonight as part of the paving contract. We're out right now doing repairs to all the roads that are going to be paved as part of your bid awards this evening. These are the projects we did in '24. I know we have a busy agenda, so I won't bore you with all this, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what we do. This is some of the storm sewer work that we did. Crumbs Mill, you can see, I think most of you are familiar with Crumbs Mill Road in Kenwood. This is Crumbs Mill, where we ran storm sewer all the way down the side of Crumbs Mill Road up to Commerce Drive. Kenwood's part of our current BC7 project. Utah Avenue was part of the flood. We eroded out the road. It was a dangerous condition where we had to fill in to at least temporarily build up the area next to the roadway so it was safe to reopen the road. And HRG is currently designing a stormwater system in that area to alleviate this erosion. Then again, just showing you some more storm sewer work that we've done. This was, Oak Avenue was part of BC7, and we paved the street and found out that there was a lot of ponding at the bottom of the road, so our in-house engineer designed this little system right here to alleviate the ponding, and then our staff installed the storm sewers. This shows our equipment. We have an emergency contract for sewer repairs. This was a emergency repair as part of a force main in the Wilshire development. And rather than spend $40,000, $50,000 on time and material with an emergency contract, we sent our guys over there, and they did it in one day. And this is the old Locust Lane project. Rather than bid out this culvert replacement, our guys got this accomplished at the end of last year. This is just a little bit about the old Locust Lane bridge that was shut down due to the condition determined by HRG as part of the bridge inspection program. This is just sort of like a timeline showing the different sections being installed. And Larry, our stormwater engineer, basically provides us a schedule long-term. So this basically shows that our crew is going to be working for the next 3 years. We have projects to be able to keep them, they're busy every day. They're in demand, so they're getting pulled from one project to another. So with the storm sewer taken over by the authority, that was the gift from the township, this 50-year-old storm system that didn't have any work done to it. So it's very expensive to do storm work and to bid. In order to keep the stormwater fee low, this will be the job of this crew over the next 20, 30, 40 years. They're going to be out working every day, replacing storm sewer. We're looking to do a asset management plan with HRG to manage that program. That's a little bit about sewer storm. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
One question.
Sure.
When you go down Ackery Drive, I don't know if there's a pipe down the center of the road, but it's starting to crumble inside. And up by my neighbor's house up at the top of the hill, there's starting to be a big hole starting to form. I don't know if that's part of the collapsing of the pipe or sinkhole.
We can go out and TV the storm sewer to see what the condition is. Yep.
So, Mr. Weaver, you've just used another set of letters that I'm not familiar with. What does TD mean?
Oh, TMDL is a total maximum daily load. It's basically a pollutant load that you're allowed to put into the creek. It's really sediment.
Okay.
So EPA enforced that on the DEP and to Pennsylvania municipalities that contribute sediment to the local creek or to the Chesapeake Bay. So that was these projects that we did as part of our MS4 permit was sediment reduction through stream bank stabilization. where you spread it out and lessen the erosion, and then you get credit for that. So they're moving to a volume management program that's under review right now. It's in a public comment period where you could still do those kind of projects, but it's more about building big detention basins to control volume that we don't have BMPs for right now, which that's really under review right now by the state. So we'll be providing more information to both boards about that, because the township actually is the holder of the MS4 permit.
Okay. And when
Right.
you started talking initially, you used 3 initials, INI, and that stands for?
Right. Infiltration inflow, that's basically just rainwater that infiltrates into the ground and into the sewer pipes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Taylor, I just wanted to share with you that our solicitor has indicated to me that you have to go to the, could you share with him?
As Mr. Weaver said earlier, the municipal authority owns the stormwater system. The township does not. So the municipal authority is who you're going to want to take your concerns to.
I'll meet with them next month. I have no
All right.
I just didn't the washout and erosion to be so bad that my area that I just got done doing years collapses down in a big hole.
Do I have a question or a comment back there?
Pardon? Yeah. How can we get any information? I had sent some things in to Tim Knowles' division, some things on McIntosh Road where these are relatively new storm inlets, and I know you have a ring, I call it a ring cutter. You hit them, they're brutal. There's 2 large drain access covers where the road has sunk on both Hillsdale and Crestview. And then Hillsdale Road itself, it's so old, it's extremely wet there. A lot of the pipe, it's brutal. A lot of people have sent that in. How do we get that officially? I'm sending it to the wrong place, obviously, from the discussion here, so.
I have
Well,
that.
yeah, no, yeah, Mr. Knoll has distributed that to a number of individuals in the, and I know that they are, I have seen some communication going back and forth on your issues, so we appreciate you sending those in. So just keep sending them to where you have, moving forward, Mr. Knoll obviously won't be here, but myself, Bill, you know how to, you know who to tag with what, but,
I wanted to make sure it wasn't because of Tim's.
Sure. We're working on your list.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Yep.
Mr. Weaver, I just wanted to add, you and your staff are among the best in the state. We appreciate having you on board here at Lower
Thank
Paxton
you.
Township.
Well, really proud of the staff we have in that crew. It's a great asset. Thanks.
Good evening, members of the board, those seated here and those watching from home. So, yes, local government week. So I do not have a PowerPoint to share with you. I'll reference those who can take a look at the poster in the back of the room. I am going to share some additional information that is not contained on the poster that I think is pretty pertinent to what is going on in our township and how we're taking care of business. First and foremost, talking about our police department continues to do outstanding work here. Our 60 sworn officers and a host of civilian staff continue to support the operations every day. Those 60 personnel, a lot of times people say, well, where are they? What are they doing? The bulk of them are in our patrol division. 32 officers are assigned to our patrol division. We have 7 in special operations, which is community engagement, our community service officer, drug task force, school resource officer. We have 9 assigned to our detective unit, several command staff members, and administrative sergeants of each division. We have currently 2 on limited duty due to unfortunate injuries, and 1 in the police academy now, hopefully to graduate here in the next few months, and additionally 1 vacancy. Our police department continually sees a very significant number of incidents each year. The severity of those incidents are continuing to be more and more dire, I believe, in some of the things that we've seen, especially recently. In 2024, though, however, 27,642 incidents our police officers responded to in that year. 54,000 residents, that's keeping our officers busy over that 28 square miles that we patrol. We're doing that in 31 different vehicles that are assigned to our police department. Those vehicles are anywhere from our CSI van, for those of you who are used to CSI, our motorcycles, our patrol units you see every day out on the streets, our staff cars, our motorcycles, and even our bicycles at times. Now, there was an interesting fact on the poster. It talks about how many tires we purchased over the course of 2024. Somebody says to me, "Why are you reporting tires? And why 113 tires for the police department?" The long and short of it is our department cars are pursuit rated. They need to be in tip-top shape all the time. If a tire goes, unlike our tires on our civilian cars and our personal cars, if we get a hole in our tire, the tire has to be replaced. There's no plug-in or patching tires on pursuit-rated cars. Why is that? Those tires are speed rated to over 160 miles an hour. No, we don't do that kind of speed, but they're rated to that, and they need to be able to handle high speeds and different type of evasive maneuvers that we're doing with those police cars. So that's kind of a little interesting fact about our tires. But we're patrolling over 217 miles of roadway in this township, and that includes both local and interstate highways that we traverse. So it is racking up the miles on our tires and our vehicles, and we have a very generous rotation. We try to rotate 3 to 4 vehicles through our fleet. We try to replace our vehicles at 100,000 miles. That's for 2 main reasons: the safety in which the vehicles wear and tear over that kind of patrol mileage, and also they remain under warranty up to that 100,000 mile mark, so it saves some significant money there. Moving on to our Bureau of Fire, I'm going to share some interesting facts here. One thing I'll say about our Bureau of Fire is essentially, for those of you who don't know, is an umbrella organization that oversees all the fire operations within the Lower Paxton Township. You have 3 fire companies that volunteer. They're hosted by a ton of volunteers. And those volunteers, though, have been dwindling, and I'm going to explain some of the reasons why. In 2024, 1,849 emergency responses by those 3 fire companies alone. Now, that's a lot of calls. That's a 12.1% increase from the prior year. And just think about it. 1,849 times volunteers who have full-time jobs, families, sporting events to attend with their children, are responding to those types of emergencies. All day, all night, on the weekends, they're taking care of business for free, but they're getting tired. So what happened here in the with the MRI document that we had a study a while ago? There were some recommendations to try and ease that burden on our volunteers, and that's where the Bureau of Fire came in and started with public safety and trying to implement some changes. Some of those changes took place very recently, some over the last year or so, but what we have been doing is trying to get help to our volunteers. Those volunteers, on top of all those hours that they spent on calls, spent 7,436 hours just in training. Again, they're not getting paid. They're training to make the services better for our township residents. Of that, all those calls that I talked about, 108 times they were dispatched for reported structure fires. The most severe call among the top 3, I would say, that we respond to. 108 times they've been out the door for that. Most recently, this week, I should say in the last 2 weeks, we've had 3 working fires in structures. We've had a serious entrapment crash. Our volunteers and our career staff, as well as the police department, have been exposed to death and dismay over the last couple weeks. That's been very disheartening, but unfortunately is a part of the business, and I think our volunteers and career staff are doing a phenomenal job in doing that. Additional thing I want to share about the volunteers is, again, we've had many communications with them. They are struggling and they're tired. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to give up. They're in at 100%, But there was been a need to assist them even further. So how did we do that and ensure public safety? With the help of the board and the budget, we were able to implement a stipend staffing program where firefighters are essentially in the fire stations being paid a small stipend to staff the apparatus and get out quickly. I can't tell you how much that has saved time, lives, and dollars in the way of responding quickly and saving lives because they were in the fire stations and out the door very quickly. And most of the time on the scene within 5 minutes or less is our benchmark, our goal. So even though that's been working, it's not 100%. Even our stipend has brought in some folks and assisted and others in getting a break when they're not at the station. There's a true need moving forward, and we had that in our budget this year for career staff. 10, hopefully by the fall of this year, you'll see 10 career firefighters assisting the volunteers and working together to further protect our citizens throughout the township and our visitors. I want to close by saying that any time that a resident, any member of the board, or anyone here in the room desires to come down and kind of have a walkthrough with us at the police department, our officers are always there for you. The Deputy Fire Chief of Operations back here for the Bureau of Fire will be glad to do ride-alongs with you, as some of the board members have done, and also visit the fire stations. Go in and get to see the people that are saving lives and property every day. And hopefully it just gives you just a little bit of understanding of what they're doing. It's just a fraction of what's going on every day here in your township, our township, and I hope that you appreciate that. I know I do. I appreciate all the work that the men and women do, and I can't say enough thanks to our volunteers for everything that they're doing as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Director Kashiba, I just want to say the dedication and professionalism of you and your staff is just above reproach, and we are so fortunate to have the number of professionals who support the emergency responders in Lower Paxton Township. To the folks in this room and to the folks watching on television, there are changes coming in how we're going to provide volunteer fire services. And Director Kashiba mentioned a little bit, maybe if you have questions, Deputy Fire Chief Graham will answer them. But our workshop meeting next month, that'll be May 18th meeting, we'll have the fire companies here, and we will have a roundtable discussion of what needs to be done, what can be done, and how we can support these great volunteer firefighter organizations with the, ultimately, so that the safety of Lower Paxton Township residents is met. Thank you, Director Kashiba.
Good evening. I believe I'm the final presentation, so hang in there a little bit. My name's Rachel Scott, Parks and Recreation Director. Last week I had the opportunity to present all the capital projects that we have been working on, but this week I want to focus on the recreational programming that my department does. We are a department made up of myself as the director, 2 program managers, and 2 clerical staff with strong support from the public engagement specialist. Our team organizes the details of these community staple programs. Brightville Basketball, which has 75 basketball teams and 773 participants from ages 8 to 15. An adult volleyball program that is indoors and outdoors, as you see the numbers there, 46 teams, 529 participants. Our summer camp operates at 4 parks, and we work with children ages 6 to 12. Over 254 participate in that program. And then we also host the park events. We hire approximately 75 seasonal employees each year to implement these activities. Another key component of our department is the coordination of the park facilities. We schedule all the pavilions, fields, courts, open fields for approximately 25 plus groups. We also process all maintenance requests for the 16 parks over 237 acres. Additionally, as you see the trash cans, we highlight that. That was an initiative started about 15 years ago where the public paints the trash cans and it becomes trash cans to treasures. And so we recycle them throughout the year and place them in our parks. And that is a strong program that has been recognized on many levels. And last but not least, the area of growth is our community engagement through volunteering. We coordinate park cleanups, trail maintenance, event support, community gardens, Eagle Scout projects, and other service projects to help beautify our parks. This year, we are implementing a new tracking system that will help us to have the stats that show how vital our volunteers are to enhancing our parks. And what our volunteers will be able to do is have access to a link where they fill out a short form, and it will just basically give name, number, and their date of volunteering, and then we will be able to collect that data and filter it based on how many have volunteered for park cleanup or events. But it's a great system that we have implemented. So we encourage you to get involved in the parks. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you, Director Scott. And last but not least, he's not here this evening, of course, but I'm sure he's watching at home, so he doesn't feel lonely. I will mention him, of course. Director Tim Nolt of the Public Works Department is not with us this evening. He has now since officially retired from resigned, unfortunately, moved on from the township to pursue some private interests. So he has moved on from full-time work with the township, but he is working right now in a part-time capacity for us until we get his replacement. So plug for any of those who may be engineers by trade or somebody interested in the realm of public works. We are seeking a public works director. Feel free to reach out, send in your application. However, the Public Works Department does represent about 35 full-time employees, has a budget of about $5 million. It includes some departmental deputies, such as the Transportation Division Manager, the Public Facilities Division Manager, a road technician, and of course our GIS technician, who all work every day very closely with one another to ensure that some high-level projects are being performed to a high degree. Some of those projects include, just really quickly, the Transportation Asset Management Plan, which includes some annual budget appropriations to address a long-term transportation-related infrastructure assessment and maintenance routine. There is the Fleet Asset Management, which is a GIS initiative, which has really allowed us to log every single one of our pieces of the fleet into a GIS platform, which allows our various entities throughout the organization, to include our mechanics, our budget office, all to track that fleet and those assets to ensure that they are being well taken care of, to ensure that we are rotating the fleet as needed year over year, and really allows for a centralized kind of system to track and monitor those pieces of equipment. The next project that's ongoing for the director and for the department include the compost facility improvements, including a number of studies that we have going on, and when we talk about for the last number of meetings. The Route 39 adaptive system, we got some press on this about a year ago or so. This is a joint project with Susquehanna Township. Both townships received north of $1 million worth of grant funding from the state to introduce a new AI-based traffic signal coordination project throughout those two townships, much like a system that exists currently on Route 22, but has been updated throughout the years to include that AI component to really ensure that it is including things such as the weather or actual traffic patterns as they come through, rather than just simplified sort of signalized timing patterns. So that's exciting. And last but not least, to include a number of other projects, but the department is also overseeing the fleet fueling station replacement project out at our Public Works campus. We are in the process of replacing the now very aged and much needed fleet fueling station system that we have. So pretty active department. Again, if you're interested in managing that department and all it has going on, please reach out. We'd be happy to discuss that further. Thank you, Board.
I hope the residents of Lower Paxton Township are sufficiently appreciative of all these professionals that take care of this business every day for us. Truly is impressive. Any other managers in report?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Old business, I will mention that the Board of Supervisors did meet in executive session before we came out this evening. Also, the chair is open for a motion to approve the minutes.
We don't have any minutes.
We have
to
no
approve.
minutes? New business. Action to award a contract to New Enterprise Stone and Lime Company for the 2025 Township Paving Project.
Yeah, thank you. Roger Muller with HRG. I was the project manager for the 2025 paving project, for which the bids were open on April 3rd. The project include pavement resurfacing and pavement preservation for just over 3.5 miles of roadway, including Union Deposit Road, Dartmouth Street, Londonderry Road, Valley Road, Feezer Road, Sherrill Drive, Nancy Drive, Easy Street, Willow Road, Raleigh Street, and Old Locust Lane. Additional work includes ADA accessible curb ramp installation, stormwater facility upgrades, and sanitary sewer manhole repairs. And these roads were selected based on the Transportation Asset Management Plan and in direct coordination with the Public Works Department. The engineer's estimate for this work was about $1,380,000. The bids, we had 3 bids, and the low bid was New Enterprise, who came in well under the engineer's estimate at $1,067,241.50. The other 2 bidders were Pensy Supply and JVI. HRG submitted the recommendation to award the contract to New Enterprise, who were the low bidder. They were the low bidder the past 2 years and have done a great job on the past couple paving projects. If the board decides to accept this bid, the notice to award would be probably this week, and then notice to proceed sometime in early May, with a substantial completion on September 5th and a final completion on October 3rd. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have about this paving project. Thank you.
Question or comments by the board? Motion to approve?
I motion to approve the award of the 2025 Township Paving Project to New Enterprise Stone and Lime.
Second.
We have a properly made and seconded motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No? The ayes have it. Action to adopt Resolution 2025-04, authorizing the submission of a $500,000 PA Small Water and Sewer Program grant.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Resolution 2504 authorizes the submission of the grant request for the PA Small Water and Sewer Program for $500,000 from the CFA for the to be used for the Colonial Park Drainage Improvement Project. The Colonial Park Drainage Improvement Project was recommended by our stormwater engineer and the Public Works Director. Veolia is in the process of doing a water replacement program in that area, and the stormwater needs to be replaced as part of this water replacement so we can pave the roads. Essentially, it's in 3 phases. We have phase A, B, and C. We're trying to keep pace with Veolia. This $500,000 grant would be used for phase A, and the HRG design is 60% complete. Based on their preliminary estimate, this grant would cover the $500,000 needed for this project. The authority does have in their 2025 budget the design and construction cost already provided if we don't get the grant. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
When you say water replacement, what exactly do you mean? What does that look like?
Veolia, actually, I think they already did phase A and B over there. They're basically just replacing their aging water main and curb valve replacements throughout the neighborhood. So that I believe that project has been completed. So the stormwater replacement would be done before the roads are paved.
Other questions?
Get the grant, sorry, if we don't get the grant, we have money in our account, you said?
Yes, we do. We have it, the authority approved 2025 budget for Phase A.
And when would the work start?
We were not permitted to award a contract until the CFA acts on the grant, so that's unknown at this point. If they're on schedule, we hope to get a grant award in October, November this year. Sometimes they delay, but lately they've been doing pretty good, I think. So we hope to get an answer to answer your question sometime by October this year.
Okay, but this isn't work that you can do over the winter, right?
We can, yes, we dig year round.
Okay,
Yes, we can't pave in the winter, but we can do the pipe work.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
What is the overall anticipated cost of the project?
For Phase A, it's 500,000.
Okay, so this would cover.
Yes.
Is there any matching requirement for this?
I don't believe, Sam, is there a matching for these small water ones? I don't believe there is.
With the CFA, there normally is a small share.
Is there? Okay, there could be. We have the funds to cover that.
It would
as
be,
I said.
it would be up to 15%. Some of the programs do offer the ability to claim a waiver on the, which I think in many cases we do, but do offer that we could consider a match if desired.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do we have a motion to approve Resolution 2025-04?
I will make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-04.
I second.
We have a properly made and seconded motion. Do all those in favor signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, back to Mr. Weaver. Action to approve the change order number 1 for the PC 2E trunk line extension repair project.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This is a change order number 1 for this trunk line and external repair project with PACT. PACT has completed the interceptor portion of the project. This interceptor is north of Linglestown Road and travels up to Blue Mountain Parkway. We had a sanitary sewer overflow in that area reported by a resident. So this project was fast-tracked, and fortunately, we got it completed in a few months. The only thing remaining is to do the stormwater on Blue Mountain Parkway. Also, as part of this contract were multiple external repairs, which are basically just digging up the sewer in areas that have failed throughout the township. We have accumulated these over the last couple years. Our engineer, sewer system engineer, GHD, ranks these from 1 to 5, and these were pretty high. They were at 5, so we had to bid this project out. As part of the external repairs, the contractor did a one-call and determined that the gas line was closer to the sewer main than we anticipated, so he did not recommend that we excavate. He did provide a lining price. The lining price is $36,718.75. That's required to be approved via change order by the board to increase the contract value to $3,070,820 to $3,107,538.75. I do note that we do hope to come in at the contract value. The cost to dig the sewer would have been more; it would have been $50,000, but the lining's $36,000. So the engineer has to add the contract price in. But at the end of the contract, we'll do a final adjusting change order, and we still expect to come in at the $3,070,000. Also, the time extension is needed because we got the state permits, but the Army Corps permits take longer. We bid the project in October. The contractor wanted to get started on his paperwork, so he signed the agreement. Unfortunately, it was really an administrative issue where the agreement had the deadline of April 15th. We didn't have the permit until the end of December. So the contractor obviously is not behind schedule in terms of the work. It was more of an administrative issue. So the permit was issued in December, and they started work in January, and they got the interceptor done, and we hope they get the external repairs done by the end of July 21, 2025, which is the substantial completion, and it will be ready for final payment August 11th, 2025. GHD couldn't be here tonight, but GHD recommends the board approve change order number 1 along with staff. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Do we need to approve the change order and an extension, or?
The approval of the change order effectively extends the contract and the increase in the contract value.
Thank you.
Yep.
And the reason for delay was mostly permitting issues and weather related?
Yeah, right now they're trying to restore the whole right of way, and it's very wet. So that was a delay of a couple weeks as well.
Okay.
But again, it was more of just an administrative thing where they had the contract already. They couldn't start the work to get the permit, but it already had the date in there.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do we have a motion to approve change order number 1?
I motion to approve change order number 1.
Second?
We have a motion properly made and seconded to approve change order number 1. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Next item, action to approve a municipal services agreement with the 10-8 Emergency Vehicle Services for the consolidation of fire apparatus maintenance and testing vendor.
Thank you, members of the board and those at home viewing and in the room. Before we get into the service agreement, I just want to give a real quick snippet of information relative to how we got here. In January of this year, we hired a assistant chief of logistics in the Bureau of Fire as a part-time employee. He worked in conjunction with the deputy chief of fire, hand in hand, to bring together a program that eventually made its way through public safety, and that was to streamline our servicing of our 9 pieces of apparatus across the township, both in preventative maintenance as well as emergency maintenance. That work is what you have in front of you. As a result of that work is an agreement that an RFP was sent out, and this individual company, 10-8 Emergency Services, responded to and worked diligently with the chief of logistics and the deputy chief of fire to hone in this particular agreement. Going down through the agreement, one thing I'll bring to note on the second page is there's a clause in there: once this agreement is signed, there will be priority given to our emergency apparatus in that shop or in station, and it will be completed. Such work will be completed within 2 days once this agreement is executed, kind of moving us to the front of the line, if you would, to ensure that our apparatus is efficiently taken care of in an expedited manner. The insurance coverage is, as you see fit, and on the second page as well. And then just moving real quickly to Exhibit A. Again, I'll just reiterate in Exhibit A, the diligent work by the 2 individuals I mentioned earlier, and I'll mention here again because their work was quite extensive in this regard, is Deputy Chief Graham and Assistant Chief Esposito, to the point where they were fine-lined this so much they were able to work with 10-8, and the services charges that you see there under Exhibit A are those charges that they would charge in shop. So what do I mean by that is, doesn't matter whether this apparatus is being done in their shop or in our stations alongside the roadway. There's no extra fees, which is ultimately kind of passed on to those when there's an emergency maintenance required. So that was great work done by those individuals. And I'll close by saying with this agreement, This streamlines the maintenance to our apparatus. No additional funding is going to be necessary. Quite frankly, by doing this in this regard, it's going to save the three volunteer fire companies our emergency apparatus, our 9 pieces of apparatus. It's going to save significant dollars each year by catching problems early before they become catastrophic in nature. So with that, I would recommend that you pass the 10-8 emergency services agreement.
Questions for Director Kashiba?
We just had one additional comment. In working with Deputy Chief Graham, we discussed how this was going to essentially impact the fire fund results. So just a heads up for the monthly reports moving forward to the board, as well as citizens who review our reports online. We have an unbudgeted repairs and maintenance line item expense, and then we'll have essentially an unbudgeted allocation amount from the relating fire companies that would offset that to zero. But just to note that that's going to be just a visual difference in the budget outline from what we originally had adopted for 2025.
Thank you, boss.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion to approve the 10-8 emergency vehicle services agreement?
So moved.
Second.
We have a properly made and seconded motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Thank you,
you.
Director Kashiba. And Graham and Esposito, too. That's great. Nice working them to get a good price. Next item, action to approve an agreement for consulting services with PFM Group Consulting, LLC. Mr. Gutschall?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Man, this evening is fire night, and so I thought what better way to continue that discussion than to bring this agreement before the board this evening. This agreement before the board has been reviewed by Township Solicitor as well as staff, and we are recommending that the board enter into this agreement with PFM Group Consulting, LLC. It had been already noted earlier this evening that the department, that the township has in its 2025 budget proper allocation for the hiring of 10 career fire personnel. And it's really not every day that a township or a municipality stands up a brand new department. And so it is with great interest that the township do everything it can to ensure that it establishes this department, including its first batch of initial career hiring, in a way that is both immediately successful, but also sustainable for the long term. So we have obtained a number of proposals from a series of firms throughout the Commonwealth. PFM came in with the agreement before the board, before you right now. I'll turn to that page right now. The basic term of this agreement is set at a maximum project budget of $37,500, which would be billed to the township on an annual basis. It is noted here that the actual length term of the contract would be not to extend September of 2025. Though, as you'll note, this is noted as a draft agreement because PFM had earlier noted to us their opportunity or their capacity to get this done much sooner. So that this is just some language that we have to clean up. But the overall contract is good for board action this evening to include the compensation terms at the maximum quoted budget of $37,500. So what this contract is going to allow us to do through PFM's work is to basically establish a baseline of compensation, some other ancillary benefits and compensation to include pension calculations and pension review, as well as some review of the benefits to include health insurance and other insurance-related benefits. So this is really going to allow us to establish that baseline compensation package to allow us to recruit qualified individuals to our force, our new force, while, like I said earlier, do so in a way that is long-term fiscally sustainable. So we hope to get this project done very soon to allow our Bureau to continue on the very aggressive kind of hiring schedule that they have set through the various agencies that they have to work with. And I'd be happy to help answer any questions that the board may have at this time on this contract.
The funding for this study, for this consulting service, will come from the general fund?
That is correct, sir.
I want everybody to understand that Mr. Gottschall said it so quickly, I'm not sure everybody grasps. What we're doing is we're establishing a new fire department in Lower Paxton Township. This is an adjunct supposedly to help firm up our volunteer services, to help sustain them in their work. It's critical that we build the foundation absolutely solidly and correctly so that what comes later, whatever comes later, is built on a firm foundation. And that's why this contract is so important. It's so important we get it right initially. Questions from the board?
Mr. Gottschall, what is their response date? They have to respond by when?
To wrap their work up.
Yes.
By September 15th of 2025. But as I had noted, they had earlier quoted us the opportunity or the ability to, they anticipate that the project will be closer to about 8 weeks.
Okay.
But the contract does allow for the actual contract to be completed by September 15th of this year.
Will they need to come in and talk to any of the current staff?
That certainly will be part of their project. The deputy chief and Director Koshiba had already done pretty significant work with regard to collecting comparable data, and so we do have already collected for them a lot of the data that they would have already or otherwise sought throughout this project. So, there certainly will be some in-person interviews that take place, but I suspect that a lot of this work will take place kind of remotely and just, through Teams or whatever other virtual platform they choose. But there will be some in-person involvement.
Okay. And they'll need access to the fire study that was already completed?
Yes, we will be providing that to them and all other relevant documentation for that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Do we have a motion to approve an agreement?
McCormick.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Question, please. Robin Lindsay, 6244 Overview Lane. I just had a question about this study. Is that also going to include if they would unionize down the road, this study?
So, of course, this study itself cannot contemplate unionization, though, it is no great secret that among public sector fire departments, unionization is rather routine. However, as stated earlier, the goal really of this study is to ensure that we set that solid foundation such that we are prepared for either eventuality, either unionization or continued non-unionization, which the department will be set up as in its initial creation.
Okay, and as I said before, when I was sitting here on the board, I thought this should have been done prior to the budget being passed. So just on the record, I feel that this should have been brought to the board back in 2024 instead of bringing it to the board now before the budget was passed with the amount of the tax increase for the career firefighters. So I just wanted to have that for the record. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve the agreement with consulting services with PFM Group Consulting.
I motion to approve engaging PFM for the consulting services.
I'll second the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. I think the ayes have it. You need to take action to adopt Ordinance 2504, amending Chapter 203 of the zoning ordinance. Mrs. Irby.
Yes. Ordinance 2504 amends Chapter 203 of the zoning ordinance, Section 303A, to modify the Lower Paxton Township zoning map to rezone land from the R1 low-density residential district to the open space development overlay district. Ordinance 2504 amends the zoning map to rezone from the low-density residential district to the OSD development for the parcel known as Dauphin County Identification Number 350777050. The parcel consists of 25.673 acres of land. The property is approximately 146.737 acres in size, including 121.064 acres in Swatara Township and 25.673 acres in Lower Paxton Township. The property is comprised of 2 Dauphin County tax parcels located within Swatara Township. Parcel number 350777050 is in Lower Paxton Township. The property has frontage on 61st Street, Crusader Way, and Spring Creek Roads. The board has been provided the following information regarding 2504, the proposed ordinance, an application for the amendment to the zoning ordinance, and a copy of the public notice. The proposed ordinance was advertised in accordance with the PA Municipalities Planning Code. The public notice was posted in the legal ad column of The Sun on Thursday, March 20th, 2025, and Thursday, March 27th, 2025. The property was posted with the public notice on Monday, March 24th, 2025. The application for amendment to the zoning ordinance was sent to Lower Paxton and Dauphin County Planning Commissions for review on February 7th, 2025. The Dauphin County Planning Commission recommended approval of the map amendment at the March 3rd, 2025 meeting. The proposed zoning amendment was recommended for approval by the Lower Paxton Township Planning Commission at the April 2nd, 2025 meeting.
Questions or comments?
Director Zerby, one question. Can you explain the difference between the R1 low density and the residential single-family detached dwelling units for open space? What's the difference between, what I would see walking along the property? Are we just reserving more space for?
It is just preserving more space,
Okay.
putting the houses closer together so there's more open space to the outside of the development.
Okay.
And Mr. McNaughton is here. He can address any additional questions that the board may have before the solicitor opens up the public hearing.
So just to be very specific, this doesn't bring in or doesn't allow commercial businesses?
No.
Okay. And somehow Swatara Township is part of this zoning change?
So they did Mr. McNaughton may be better off to address that question. The parcel extends into 2 different townships.
Hey, good evening. I'm Joel McNaughton, attorney for MCN Land Holdings LLC, which is the owner of the subject tract. I don't know if you want me to talk now or wait until the public hearing's open. Happy to do it either way.
You can
Why don't I just open the public hearing? I'll incorporate all of Ms. Zerbe's comments and the board comments. I believe they're all on the record already. Okay. Chairman, if you would temporarily recess the public meeting, I will open the public hearing.
Temporary recess of the public meeting.
Calling to order the public hearing publicly advertised for this evening on ordinance 2025-04, on ordinance 25-04 to amend chapter 203 of the zoning ordinance, section 303A, modifying the zoning map to rezone land from R1 to open space development overlay district. I will have each of the documents referenced by Ms. Zerbe and her comments incorporated into the record, as well as those comments and questions from the board. And I will turn it over to Mr. McNaughton to explain his project.
Thank you very much. Need me to do anything else? Okay. Again, my name's Joel McNaughton, here tonight on behalf of MCN Land Holdings, LLC. We are the owner of the subject tract. MCN Land Holdings, LLC is an affiliate of the McNaughton Company, which is a 50-plus-year-old, closely family-held real estate company. We're based over in Susquehanna Township. Two-thirds or so of my family, including myself, own properties and reside in Lower Paxton Township. And we've been doing business in Lower Paxton Township. I was thinking about this in the car on the way over since the early 90s, which now is 30 years ago. So we've been here for a long time. Here tonight seeking your approval of a change in the zoning designation of a property from R1 to OSD, which is the open space development. The property in question is located over off of 61st Street and Crusader Way. Crusader Way is the access road to the Bishop McDevitt High School. So it's essentially the remaining vacant land between Bishop McDevitt High School and the houses that ultimately connect down to Dairy Street in Swatara Township. It's about 146 acres, 121 of that, the bulk of it is in Swatara Township. The 25 acres, the northernmost part closest to Bishop McDevitt High School, is in Lower Paxton Township. Property served with public water and public sewer, and our intention is to develop the entire property, the entire 146 acres, into an open space development that we are calling the Grove at Spring Creek. Quite simply, the need for us to be here tonight is the way that the Lower Paxton Township zoning ordinance in its current form is written. Your comprehensive plan and planning, everybody says that we should do open space development. So it consolidates the residences in the developable portions of the site and then preserves as open space wetlands, steep slopes, environmental features, those sorts of things. In Swatara Township, that is a by right use. So if you have 10 acres and you check a couple boxes, by right, you can do an open space development. We'd like to also do that in the Lower Paxton portion of the site, make the whole thing consistent. In Lower Paxton, open space development, again, while encouraged, is a use that requires a change in the zoning designation from R1 to OSD. So that's why we're here. It's really a, as zoning requests go, it's a relatively benign request. We did submit our request back in January of this year. It did go to the Dauphin County Planning Commission, who recommended approval. We also went to the Lower Paxton Township Planning Commission, and back in, I guess, the beginning of this month, April 2nd, they unanimously recommended approval of the application. You have the application. I don't know that I'll go through it. Maybe I'll hit a couple of the big points. Like I said, OSD, the purposes of those are well established. If we had a planner here, I guess we do have a planner here, they would tell you open space development is the way we want to see properties developed. We can preserve all of the places that shouldn't be developed and consolidate the houses in the places they should. It's really that simple. It cuts down on long-term maintenance. You know, you can put the same number of houses on less roadway, less storm sewer and sanitary sewer that Mr. Weaver will have to repair and replace someday. So all good things. The county comprehensive plan, your comprehensive plan, all recommend this be the way that we develop. I think that this is an opportunity to do something that's consistent with those plans. Your planning commission, again, the county planning commission all saw that this to be a good utilization of the property. We're excited to bring this community, this residential community, to both Lower Paxton and Swatara townships. And this open space development overlay is the first step in that process. I don't have anything additional to add, but certainly would answer any questions that you have.
I have several questions. So you said something about by right. You already own the property?
We do own the property, yes.
Okay, so you don't have to go before Swatara Township Zoning Board?
We don't have to go in, we do not need a rezoning from Swatara Township. The property is zoned RS in Swatara Township, and in the RS district in Swatara Township, as long as you have 10 acres or more, you can do an open space development.
Okay. Let's see. Then I'm looking over here, and maybe, Ms. Zerby, this is directed to you. Ordinance, I'm in the third paragraph, ordinance 25-04 also contains a repealer clause. I am looking at the public notice.
Yes, I'm sorry, what's
So I
the
was
question?
asking about, what exactly do you mean when you say repealer clause?
That's just standard language for any rezoning request. That's language that's put in there through the solicitor.
Okay, and severability?
Again,
A standard language?
standard language.
Severing
it's in
it
every-
from?
It's referring to the severability clause within the ordinance, which essentially means that if some part of the ordinance is rendered inapplicable or unlawful, that the remainder of the ordinance remains in full force and effect so long as a court of some competent jurisdiction doesn't overturn it.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, thank you.
One general question. Do you think residents prefer the open space as opposed to what we characterize as the R1 low-density residential?
I would say without a doubt. Some of our, well, I mean, certainly in the last, 15, 20 years, there's been a movement to the open space development. Most of the things that we've done in that time frame have been open space development. If this were a by right plan, folks would have 20,000 square foot lots. But then things like wetlands and stormwater management ponds would be located on their lots. So while they had 20,000 square feet, effectively, they probably really don't. When you cluster them, which is essentially what we're doing, you can go down to 10,000 square feet. Those things like wetlands and ponds and easements, et cetera, stay off the lot. So their effective property is the same, but then they also get the advantage of the, you know, the views, the feel of having that open space within the community.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from board members for either Mr. McNaughton or Ms. Zerby? Any comments, questions from the public? Seeing none, I will ask that all of the documents referenced by Ms. Zerby and all of those who testified and asked questions be made part of the record, and I will close the hearing. Mr. Chair, you may reconvene.
Reconvening the Board of Supervisors meeting. Is it appropriate then to take a vote on this issue?
If the three of you vote unanimously, that's fine. If you would like to wait for Supervisor Thompson, that's also fine.
Okay.
Down by McDevitt, there's a
It appears to be the pleasure of the board to move forward with this vote. Do we have a motion?
I will make the motion to adopt ordinance number 2504, amending Chapter 203 of the zoning ordinance, Section 303A, modifying the zoning map to rezone land from R1 to open space development overlay district.
I second.
We have a properly made and seconded motion to approve. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Improvement guarantees.
There's another plan.
Mr. Chair, you're missing
8.2. I'm sorry, action to approve a preliminary final minor subdivision and lot addition plan at property of the Herbert M. and Janice M. Wag and Debbie E. and Jeff L. Hocklander. Plan number 2503. Director Zerby.
Yes, the preliminary final minor subdivision plan and lot addition plan proposes to subdivide Lot 2A, which is 2.105 acres from existing Lot 2, and combine it with existing Lot 1 as an add-on lot. Presently, Lot 2 stands at 4.2 acres, and Lot 1 has a total area of 1.098 acres. With the addition of Lot 2A into Lot 1 will now have a total area of 3.203 acres, and Lot 2 will be reduced to a total area of 2.241 acres. The site is located in the R2 medium-density residential district, and the site will be served by private sewer and private water supply. The applicant is seeking 7 waivers, as the plan is simply a lot line adjustment and no construction or public improvements are proposed. Staff supports all 7 waiver requests. There are 4 administrative comments and 2 general comments to satisfy prior to recording. And a representative of Burgett and Associates is here this evening to address any questions the board may have.
Questions or comments? Chair will entertain a motion. I'm sorry, did you want to add something to this?
Tom Keene with Brigade and Associates. I have nothing further to add.
Go ahead.
Okay, I motion to approve a preliminary final minor subdivision and lot addition plan at property of Herbert and Janice M. Ragg and Debbie and Jeffrey Hawklander, plan number 2503.
Second.
We have a properly made and seconded motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Now, I guess we'll move on to improvement guarantees.
In my meeting with the finance director, I reviewed the various improvement guarantees. I believe there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. The 10 improvement guarantees for April 15th. So I make a motion for the board to approve the improvement guarantees unless there's any specific question on a particular one.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a properly made and seconded motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. Payment of bills, Lower Paxton Township and Lower Paxton Township Authority.
In the same meeting with the finance director, I reviewed the 3 registers, the check on demand, township and sewer, the sewer board of supervisors register, and the other sewer board of supervisor register. Having reviewed those and gotten all my questions satisfactorily answered, I make a motion to pay the bills.
I second.
We have a properly made and seconded motion to pay the bills of both the township and the authority. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. It's now time for announcements, and I'm going to call on Mr. Bill Minsker as an announcement to make.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Bill Minsker. I live at 5956 Linglestown Road Rear on the square in Linglestown. I'm representing tonight the Linglestown Area Civic Association, otherwise known as LACA, to announce to our members here of the public tonight and on TV that tomorrow LACA will hold its twice annual Candidates Night, this time in preparation for the May primary, at which tomorrow night at the Linglestown Firehouse, starting at 7 o'clock, we will have the 5 candidates who are running for positions on the board in the primary. And I would like to invite the public to attend. This is a public no-cost type activity. The candidates each will have 10 minutes to speak, to introduce themselves, to talk about their programs. This is not a debate. This is not a question and answer type session during the time of their presentations. At the end of their presentations, each candidate, the 5, will have a table at the back of the room to meet individually with the public. This event will occur in the St. Thomas Room of the former Linglestown High School, brick building of the Linglestown Fire Company, known today as Linglestown Historic Venue. So the public's invited and hopefully will attend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other announcements? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in, second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No? The ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.